and I'm back. And with this episode, I really just wanted to highlight how everybody keeps asking me, like, why did you name your channel The Black She? And obviously the easy answer is because I'm the black sheep of the family. I've said this a lot of times. However, there is obviously a deeper meaning and a deeper like person, because I'm not all shallow and funny like you guys think I am. There's actually a much deeper, much more valuable reason why I would want to call my channel The Black She. So you will realize that it's really not with the EP at the end, so it's literally just a black female, she standing for female, and not the man that you see in the intro. Obviously that was just because it's nice, it's catchy, and I really am the black sheep of my family. Right, so we're gonna get into it, and I'm going to tell you, I have touched on it before, how I have experienced racism in my undergrad studies, right? I've literally experienced days where I would call home and I'd tell my dad, I'm like, look, I'm coming back home, or I would be at home and I'd tell him, I'm not going back to the place because I don't know, it felt so systematic and so organized that you wouldn't even be able to report on it, because there was just no way you were going to have proof of the fact that you were looked down upon, and there's always like a ceiling type of mark for a certain color of students, and that there was no way you were going to get your degree in record time and all of those things. Literally every day you'd wake up and just be like, God, why am I black? You know? And it was really tough. It really was something that I've had a lot of people that I attended varsity with, obviously black students, black females, because my course, or the occupational therapist course, is one that is very populated by females, right? I've had a lot of them drop out or have to be admitted to mental health institutions, because you really get to a cracking point. You really get to a point where you're like, I cannot do enough. Like, I cannot do enough to be considered not almost non-black, but I cannot do enough to be considered worthy of this degree. I think I'm making sense. Okay, so fast forward to graduation day. Like, when I walked across that stage, I told myself, I remember making eye contact with my parents, and in the back of my head, I'm like, from today I am going to celebrate being black, because I've had to literally just I remember the ones my dad was like, you have to be like a tree, you're gonna have to bend to this racial storm, and just make sure you do what it is that you have to do, so that once the storm is over, you can just rise up and be yourself again. Because like I said, reporting it was not going to help. So yeah, that day I realized this is the day that the tree stands up from the storm, because it's done, and I would never let anyone belittle my blackness ever again. I would never let anyone make my blackness a reason to look down upon me, or turn up their nose to work that I've done, that I've worked too hard for. So yeah, so I think that's where the black part of Black She comes from, because I wake up every day and I celebrate the fact that I'm black, the fact that I'm Mobedi, was South Africa, so that is non-negotiable. The girl is black. And so now let's talk or touch on the she part, right? You know what, life moves, life is continuous, and you think you've overcome one battle, and then the next one comes through. Because if we didn't have challenges, or you know, we didn't have things coming our way that help us grow, that help us realize who we are and celebrate ourselves, then we would just remain stagnant, you know. Like, you know, if there's a pool of water and it's not shaken by anything, or if it's like nothing goes in and out of it, it will never grow, it will never become clean, it will never, you know. So we have to be shaken for us to grow. And I moved to Hatfield for some time in my career, and living in Hatfield was crazy. I know I've always said I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna live in the city, but it was crazy because the time that I lived there, I'll tell you, you would hear a report of a young lady being abducted almost every day, or even more than one lady a day, you know. I remember there was a time, I think it was in 2019, it was really bad. There were videos going around of how these girls were abducted, how girls in the area that I lived were taken from their friends, you know. It was not even a matter of they went out in the evening, or they were walking from school and they were abducted. So I even remember a time where I literally moved out of Hatfield because I just couldn't. I moved out and I went to go live with a family friend because it was that much, and it was starting to affect my mental health because I stopped going out in the evenings. I lived in like the business of Hatfield, but by 5 o'clock I made sure I am back in the house. I've locked all my doors and I'm literally not gonna go anywhere. I remember calling my fiance and I was hungry and there was like not much to eat in the house, and I told him, I'm like, I'm hungry and it's 6:30 in the evening. He's like, go out and go get some KFC, you can at least go to the drive-thru. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna go out in the evening. So can you imagine living such a life? You know, you're a grown woman. Oh wait, he was my husband, he was my boyfriend. But anyway, you're a grown woman and your mom or your parents have to check on you literally every day that you are safe, that you're in the house, that you've locked the doors, that when you're driving you've locked the car doors. You know, it was crazy. And for some reason I kept on asking God, I'm like, why are we being punished just for being human? Like, just for being, well, obviously yes, human, but why are we being punished for being female? You know, I never went, I stopped going out. I loved taking myself out on dates. After work I'd go like for a drink or go explore Hatfield. I stopped doing all of that. I remember the one time I was wearing a crop top and I was gonna go out, and I sent my husband a picture of what I was wearing, and he's like, please don't go out like that because we really don't even know what attracts the perpetrator. You know, we don't know if it's how you dressed. Have they been checking you out for a number of weeks or months? Like, how do they pick? Is it just because you're female that they pick you? So it was really a crazy time. And I remember going back in my thoughts that, wow, I remember sometimes I used to ask God, why am I black? Because it was holding me back, you know. And now here I was and I'm like, God, why am I female? You know, it's crazy. And I have since moved from Hatfield. I didn't move because of the abduction, so I moved because of a better job offer. But my anxiety levels really just went much lower when I moved back to the Plattelanda, like we call it. And I'm able to go out again. You know, I stopped like jogging. I used to go out and jog. I stopped going out to jog in the streets. I stopped going to the union buildings. I used to go there to go work out, you know, obviously, and gym gear is quite what's the word, like tight, and sometimes you want to work out in your crop tops, and you really have to stop all of those because you feel watched and you feel like any minute now I could be abducted. So I decided to call my channel The Black She because of, yeah, I've been writing it down, you know, and I wanted to have this sit down with you guys and tell you. And there's a reason why I want to always celebrate being black and being female, because you know what, one of my favorite quotes say, they tried to bury us, they didn't know we are seeds. And it's always, for me, we kept on what's the word, repeating it, especially at graduation, me and my other black she's, we kept on saying they can try. I mean, the thing about the perpetrators is they always get so amazed that, I mean, we try to destroy them, we try to beat them down, we try to abduct them, we try to talk down on them, but they keep rising. It's because they don't really realize that a black female is like a seed. You will do whatever you want to do to her and or against her, but she will still rise. The black she will still rise. And that's one of my favorite quotes. I love it. I share it with everyone, and everywhere I go I'm like, look, they can try, they have tried, they are still going to try, but they don't realize that we are actually seeds. Wherever you try to trample us or throw us or bury us, we are going to come out, we are going to sprout, and we're going to give forth fruits. And that brings me to one of my favorite verses as well, that I used to also recite when I would feel really anxious or I would feel really bad for being black and for being female. And I actually want to share it with you. I want to read it straight from the Bible. I'm going to read from the Holy Bible, and then I'm going to read from the Sepedi Bible, because your girl can read Sepedi. Okay. Let's start with the Holy Bible. This is the Holy Bible. Yes. So it's 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 8 to 9. And it says, we are hard pressed on every side, but we are not crushed. Yay! Somebody say amen. We are perplexed, but we are not in despair. We are persecuted, but we are not abandoned. We are struck down, but we are. So yes, guys, hallelujah, because we are never destroyed. You know, that's the thing. I love this verse because sometimes you feel like I'm now on even negative. I'm running low on energy, below zero, and I always remember that it's fine. We can be in that state, but you're not destroyed, you know, because the negatives are still numbers as well. So you're still gonna rise. And now I want to read it or share it with you guys in Sepedi, because like there are certain parts of the hearts that only your mother tongue can talk to or reach. So when I read it in Sepedi, I'm just like, yes. Let me read it for you guys. So okay, oh, am I supposed to say the chapters and the verses in Sepedi as well? Yo. Okay, so okay, what's chapter in Sepedi, guys? Yo, chapter yabone timana yabu. Oh my gosh, guys, yo, I'll do my research. I'm gonna come back for this. Let me just read it. So 2 Corinthians 4 verse 8 in Sepedi. Ridikilwe thoko tsohle me a ripitlaganywe. Yo, do you hear that? It hits like certain spots that the Holy Bible does not hit. Ria pora pora me gare ga kanere. Like gare ga kanere for me is just like we're not gonna get confused. I mean, yes, we might be sad and yes, we might be broken, but we're not confused about who we are, and we never will be. And verses 9 says, Ria taishwa. You know, we might, you guys like might try to, you know, confuse us, you know. Like, but we're not gonna lose it, guys. We're not gonna lose it. The Bible reminds us that we are the black sheep, and we cannot lose our place in society. And the last bit says, is just beautiful for me. Like, you can step on me, look down on me, but trust me. I don't know if you guys have seen that what is it called? It's not an example. It's an, so like say an illustration of that guy who's holding the 100 rand notes in his hand, and then he literally crushes it or crumbles it, and he steps on it and he throws it there and there. So it's, and then he still opens it, but it's still 100 rand notes, and it's still got the same value even after being crumbled, after being stepped on, after being thrown anyway. It's still got the same value. And I think it's important for us as black females to know that whatever we go through, we still hold the same value. We literally still hold the same value, and that's why it's important, utmost importance, for us to celebrate ourselves, fix them every time they pronounce your name wrong. You know what, if it's your surname that they wanna Phetlarize, like people used to say Tshegofatso, Phetla, and then they'd be like, don't you have an easier name? I'm like, no, my name is Tshegofatso, you know. I never asked for an easier name when you introduce yourself to me. So why do you wanna say my surname is Phetla, and why do you wanna say call me T or Blessing versus Tshegofatso? Like, you will learn to call the black she Tshegofatso, because that's who she is, and she's not confused. And I share you. So yeah, guys, let's celebrate being black, let's celebrate being female, and just keep going. And yeah, you're gonna like this video. You're gonna comment on it. I mean, if you have experienced any type of trauma because of the color of your skin or your sexuality, please do let me know in the comments, and we're just gonna continue to fight against it and celebrate who we are. Righty, comments, like, subscribe, the Black She. Thank you.